Welcome back to Revel and Rathe. I'm your host, Carter Barton. Today, we will be covering the many sets and products of Flesh and Blood, covering the heroes, legendaries, and staple cards of each set from past to present, as well as giving a recommendation to new players, or any players for that matter, for the products that they should be purchasing depending on their interests. Before we can talk about the many sets and products of Flesh and Blood, we have to talk about card rarity. Flesh and Blood cards feature a small letter symbol at the bottom of each card to denote the rarity of the card. In ascending order, T stands for token, C stands for common, R stands for rare, S stands for super rare, M stands for majestic, L stands for legendary, a purple triangle represents a marvel, and a yellow diamond represents a fabled. Super rares are only featured as a rarity in the first two sets, Welcome to Rathe and Arcane Rising. Marvels were introduced in Uprising and have been featured as a rarity that introduces new art or styles to certain cards in a set. Each set features one fabled card, and they serve as the rarest card in any set. Flesh and Blood features two set types, draft sets and supplementary sets. Draft sets are designed with limited formats in mind, those being draft and sealed. These sets are designed with specific heroes or classes in mind. Supplementary sets, on the other hand, are designed without limited formats in mind, allowing cards to be printed for many different heroes all in the same set, without having to balance draft or sealed for competitive play. For example, Welcome to Rathe is a draft set that features and is balanced around 4 different heroes. Dynasty, on the other hand, is a supplementary set that features cards for all the classes currently in the game and is not balanced with limited formats in mind. Now that we know the difference, let's dive into the many sets of Flesh and Blood from past to present. Welcome to Rathe was the debut draft set of Flesh and Blood, introducing 4 new heroes into the game: Katsu, Dorinthia, Rhinar, and Bravo. It features 5 legendaries: Findle's Spring Tunic, Mask of Momentum, Brave Forged Bracers, Scabskin Leathers, and Tectonic Plating. The fable of the set is Heart of Findle. Welcome to Rathe features many staple majestic cards for classes of the 4 heroes, as well as Enlightened Strike, a solid generic staple that fits into most decks. Following the initial success of Welcome to Rathe, Arcane Rising takes a lot of design inspiration from its predecessor. The draft set features 4 new heroes: Azalea, Kano, Viserai, and Dash. It features 5 legendaries: Arcanite Skullcap, Skullbone Crosswraps, Storm Striders, Grasp of the Arknight, and Tekla Foundry Heart. The fable of the set is Eye of Ophidia. Arcane Rising also features solid majestic cards for the 4 classes in the set, on top of 2 prominent generics, Command and Conquer and Art of War. Crucible of War is the first supplementary set released for Flesh and Blood. It added more cards to the card pool for all 8 of the classes at the time, as well as a few new Blitz heroes including Kasai, Datadol, Benji, and KO. Kavdane and Ira were also printed in this set. Kavdane was the first merchant released in Flesh and Blood, with the class meant for the 4-player format called Ultimate Pit Fight rather than Blitz. Ira, on the other hand, is a reprinted hero in Crucible of War, since she was featured in starter decks given to stores when the game was first being marketed. Crucible features 2 legendaries, a Findle's Spring Tunic reprint, as well as Shiana, a shapeshifter hero playable in Blitz. Arknight Shard is the fable in the set. Crucible also features a ton of majestic equipment for many of the different classes. Monarch marked the return to draft sets for a bit, featuring a light and dark thematic. It introduced 4 new heroes: Prism, Bolton, Levia, and Chain. It features 6 legendaries: Vestige of Soul, Phantasmal Footsteps, Valiant Dynamo, Carrion Husk, Doomsday, and Eclipse. The fable of the set is Library of Solana, a special type of non-attack action called a landmark. Tales of Aria followed in Monarch's footsteps by releasing heroes with traits on top of their classes. The draft set introduced 3 new heroes: Oldhim, Briar, and Lexi. Each hero can play 2 of the 3 elements of the set, those elements being Ice, Earth, and Lightning. The set features 6 legendaries: Heart of Ice, Crown of Seeds, Shock Charmers, Rampart of the Ram's Head, New Horizon, and Spellbound Creepers. The fable is another landmark, Corsham, Crossroad of Elements. Returning to a supplementary set, Everfest added a bunch of new cards for each class in the game, all under a carnival theme. it introduced 4 new heroes: Genis, Icelander, Volda, and the Mad Lad himself, Starvo. The set features 3 legendaries: Stalagmite, Bastion of Eisenloft, Silver Palms, and a reprint of Arcanite Skullcap. Grandeur of Valahai is the fabled of the set. After Everfest, History Pack marked a special supplementary set featuring white-bordered reprints of many cards from the first 3 sets of the game, including a bunch of legendaries as well as Enlightened Strike, Command and Conquer, and Art of War. History Pack also features special Marvel full art heroes that can be pulled in German, French, Spanish, and Italian boxes, as well as reprints of Heart, Eye, and Shard. Uprising featured 3 new heroes, or should I say 2, since Icelander finally got a classic constructed card printed in this set. The other 2 heroes introduced are Phi and Dromai, both Draconic heroes. The set features 6 legendaries: Crown of Providence, Alluvian Constellas, Tiger Stripe Shuko, Ghostly Touch, Coronet Peak, and Flamescale Furnace. The fabled is Blood of the Dressai. Uprising also features Marvels for the first time in Flesh and Blood, those being cold foil versions of the dragons in the set. Dynasty is the most recent supplementary set as of this recording, featuring cards for all the current classes in the game as well as cards for the new Assassin class. Dynasty introduced 3 new heroes: Arachne, Yoji, and the Emperor, who is also a legendary in the set, with the other 4 legendaries being Crown of Dominion, Invoke Soraya, Spirit of Arena, and Black Tech Whisperers. This is also the first set that features a fabled that is not a new card, that being the special reprint of Command and Conquer. Dynasty also features Marvel versions of a bunch of the equipment and Majestics in the set. Finally, Outsiders is the most recent draft set of Flesh and Blood. It introduces 3 new heroes, those being a new young Arachne, as well as Azuri and Riptide. The set features 5 legendaries: Vambrace of Determination, Flick Knives, Trench of Sunken Treasure, Quiver of Abyssal Depths, and Redback Shroud. Plague Hive is the set's fabled. Outsiders also includes Marvel versions of its Codex cycle. Besides the many sets of Flesh and Blood, I will also briefly mention the Flesh and Blood Blitz decks as well as the Classic Battles Rhinar vs. Dorinthia products. Blitz decks are a great way for new players to try out heroes cheaply and without having to construct their own deck. Similarly, the Classic Battles product is awesome for new players looking to learn the game alongside a friend, and it even features some exclusive cards that were only printed in those decks. Now that we've gone over the many sets and side products of Flesh and Blood, I will now give recommendations for new players looking to start buying into the game. Blitz decks or the Classic Battles product are what I would recommend for those looking to immediately get into the game. Grab a friend, open them up, and learn to play using my tutorial video that goes over all the basic game rules and terminology linked in the description below. For those looking to beef up their specific hero or class type, I'd recommend purchasing singles online or boxes of draft sets containing cards for that hero or class. Lastly, I'd recommend supplementary sets for those looking to get a wide variety of cards in different classes for their collections. You now know the ins and outs of the many sets of Flesh and Blood, both past and present, as well as have recommendations for what you should look at purchasing depending on your interests as a player. If you want to support this channel and want to see more content, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell icon next to it for notifications when I upload new content. Stay tuned for more videos, and thank you for watching.